Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Driveway Engineer. I'm JR. I'm going to need a beer for this one. I'm actually down to like a bunch of random stuff that's in the fridge. This is a peach and blackberry. This might be alright. Not bad. Not bad. Today, I don't really like doing this kind of content. I guess it feels cheap to me or whatever. I have nothing against this gentleman. I don't know him. I'm sure we can be friends and have a picture of cider together. So, but this video came to my attention. Somebody shared it in my group, and then they felt the need to take it down because I made fun of them. Just because I made fun of you doesn't mean you need to take it down. I'm not sensitive. You can leave it up. I wouldn't have approved it if I didn't want it up. But this guy's got an opinion, he's got some facts, and I just want to go through and share my opinion and my facts on, kind of whether or not you should be building an LS engine in 2025. It's December 29th as I'm recording. And we'll go through, and this is just my opinion, some facts. If you don't know, I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm degreed Bachelor of Science, Mechanical Engineering. Been working in the automotive field for about 15 years now, since I graduated college. I was a millwright before that. Been building cars for a while. Not a professional racer by any means. Haven't been in a long time. I was at one point in time. I used to race factory stock. But yeah, let's get into the video. So this gentleman who does a lot of Vortec 4200 Ameribera content, and I think it's neat. I think it's interesting. I would not at all recommend to anybody that they piss their money down that hole, but it's cool that somebody does it. He's got an opinion here, so let's play along and see what he has to say.
Alright guys, it's time to get back to a project that's been sitting on the shelf for a little while. That's 1976 Nova that we are swapping a Gen 5 L86 into.
For starters, $1,200 intakes tell me that like this dude's not living in the same world that I'm living in.
Goodies from our friends at Brian told you that you should stop messing with
Let's skip
that
forward.
out-of-date LS engine and move on to a Generation 5 LT.
And there's one reason that I would do that, which is the 6-speed transmissions.
As a Chevy 6-cylinder guy, I gotta say.
Now, in the sense that you should stop messing with them, like getting one that runs and taking it all apart, you should absolutely stop messing with them. A bunch of them have been turned into parts engines or scrap or Kias because somebody just had to see if they really could use those main bearings and then never put it back together. Now they took all the bolts out and their anxiety won't let them reuse the bolts. So now it's a $30 bolt here and a $30 bolt there, and then they wind up looking like this guy. But I digress. Move on.
Other platforms have been begging for the gift from God that GM gave you guys in the form of the Gen 5 LT engines. There are so many things that are so much better about it than the previous generation. And
I'm going to pause here and note that one of the things that's not better is there's no power steering pump. That's a cost. Can you deal with it? Yes. Can you drop it into your shit box and like hook the lines up like I did in my square body? You cannot. There's a cost. So
nobody's messing with it.
the reason why nobody's messing with it's kind of apparent. Like I can buy a $400 engine and get 90% of the results. It wasn't really the motor, dude. It was the platform. Nobody gives a shit about Trailblazers. And it doesn't fit in anything else. That motor's tall. The Atlas 4200 is so tall. That's why the diff bolts to the side of the oil pan.
Alright guys, let's talk about how the oiling system in an LS engine works. This is a model that I found.
I can tell you how the oiling system in an LS engine works. It works. It works. Until somebody decides that they just need to screw with the barbell and screws the barbell up and wrecks their oiling system. There's a bunch of these engines out here making 4-digit horsepower with stock oil systems. So is it better? Is the Gen 5 system better? Yeah, it's a true priority main. So what? Like, this doesn't matter. These things hit the junkyard all the time with 300,000 and 400,000 miles because they got wrecked. Because the shooting gallery of traffic every day took them out, not because they didn't have good enough oiling. But I'll let him continue.
And I'm going to
Actually, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit.
travels over to this area.
It takes a little bit of a roundabout.
Takes a 90-degree turn and travels down the length of the block here. Right here, this is where the dumbbell.
Right here.
travels
Oh
on
shit.
This is where the dumbbell.
So right here is where a lot of people screw their oil up, because he's actually not quite showing it. Your filter sits down here, and people will screw with this oil cooler or try to put fittings in there or screw with this barbell, and they block all the oil flow. So it comes from the pump up here, shoots down this gallery, and then goes down into the filter and back up. And people messing around in this area has screwed up and starred more engines than anything else.
Right here, this redirects the oil down into the oil filter, then it comes back up and goes into this galleys right here, via this passageway right here. This model doesn't show it, but there are channels that come down off of the lifter galleys that intersect with the main bearings.
It's
So it is kind of a priority main, but it's very convoluted. And
it's what I would call a shared priority.
now those lifter galleys, they travel all the way right here.
So this is why a Gen 5 is priority.
It interfaces with the oil pump, which is again here at the front of the engine, and that is how it gets its pressure reference from the oiling system and regulates the oil flow going into the engine. The LS engine gets its pressure reference from the outlet of the oil pump, so if there is a leak downstream, it really doesn't know, and it will only respond.
Sounds complicated.
Without a dry soak, and I think, in fact, there's a lot of guys who will not run an LS engine without a dry soak.
A lot of guys being guys who are actual professional drift car racers who sit on the rev limiter at 8,500 RPM for minutes at a time. You're probably not that guy. You're probably not that guy.
And I think that this,
I'm not that guy.
have I got the solution? A huge difference. Next, we got to talk about deck strength. Are you tired
Again,
of
a non-issue.
gaskets like this?
The LT
Have I got the solution
is, in theory, stronger. He doesn't say anything factually incorrect here. I don't know if I already said that, but
so that next time you can send all 8 rods. But wait, there's more. If you call right now, we'll throw in a larger diameter head bolt for just one easy payment of the same
yeah, because the LS head bolts have only known to hold 30 psi reused.
your diameter head bolt. Send those rods through the block.
What exciting benefits do you get as a
Oh, we're watching Hertz now.
You can just skip the line and go right to your car.
Listen, you want to skip this ad?
Yes, I do.
But what if I told you there's a skip ads forever look?
More
Bye.
air into the cylinder with no additional mods to the cam or the cylinder head. What people fail to consider is that the cylinder head.
So this is another one of those things where better isn't, it doesn't necessarily matter, right? He's going to go into direct injection. So this is an LS style where the fuel flows through the valve. Direct injection puts, like the spark plug, puts it straight in, and that in theory is better. How much better? I can show you how much better. I can show you because Richard Holdner has done all the tests. This is what a stock LM7 makes, roughly 350 horsepower is what they always make for him. He's tested like a billion of them, and about 375 foot-pounds of torque. This is what an L83 makes. A hair over 400 horsepower, no thank you, and about 425 foot-pounds of torque. So you would be up, call it 50 horsepower, and call it 50 foot-pounds of torque from your direct injection for the low cost of 10 times as much, because you're hard-pressed to find an L83, a lowly 5.3 Gen 5, for less than $2,000, and typically they're $2,500, $3,000. And you know why? Because they all shit the bed in the Silverados that they're in, because the active fuel management kills the lifters. So people still trying to actually drive their truck are still looking for these engines versus LM7 engines. They've been taken out by traffic accidents or rust. That's the only reason they're off the road. There's nothing wrong with the engines.
When a Ford-injected engine isn't just flowing air, it is also flowing fuel. Typical gasoline-powered engines will run a...
There's actually positives to that too, but they just don't matter to you.
50% improvement in cylinder head flow, which is like adding like 1 pound of boost. Would result in an immediate 8% improvement in cylinder
An
head
8%
flow,
improvement,
which is
boys.
like adding like
Woo.
1 pound of boost.
Let me rip out my Affirm.
Even 60 horsepower NA by switching from Ford injection. The guys picked up 60 horsepower NA.
They picked up 60 horsepower NA on a 675 horsepower engine. So there's your 8%, right? So yeah, use an extreme example. Your stock 5.3 is not going to pick up 60 horsepower. It's going to pick up the same 8%. And on 425 horsepower, that's about 35, 36 horsepower. Enough to feel, enough to make you pay 5 to 10 times as much. You tell me.
By switching from Ford injection to direct injection. And most of the guys out there are just taking the direct injection system and just throwing it in the garbage can.
Yeah, because it's expensive and complex to run. Injectors are expensive and yeah, look at this. Only $3,200 for a Terminator X Mac. You're not going to hack the stock Gen 5 PCM to run this. So now you got to configure this out and hope that your ECU doesn't brick the first time you jump your car. I build whole cars for less than this. And I think that a lot of you live there too. I don't know. Just say you're poor, bro. I'm poor, bro. Okay? I have 7 fucking trucks. I have 7 trucks. I like to drink fancy beer. I have fancy 3D printers. I have other hobbies that I like to do. And, you know, I just can't be fucking throwing $20,000 at a truck or a car, whatever, that I don't drive every day. It's madness. But yes, the higher injection pressure does allow it to atomize better. It is better.
Now, this creates more complication, and it's not for everyone, but for the NA guys...
It is not for everyone. Now we're
they've given it to you for free.
porting heads or something.
The greater availability of forged steel crankshafts, the raised
Ooh,
and
more
cannon-style
forged
cylinder head,
crankshafts. I really care about that.
But I think I've proven my point.
Have you?
Rant over.
Now listen here, son.
Yeah.
I just mentioned
Our calling was to build trucks, and that's why trucks are what we do.
Okay. $90 billion trucks.
the compression ratio on the LT engines is a bit higher than the LS. And because of
The
this,
compression ratio is higher because of the direct injection. It can run higher because the fuel atomizes better. It keeps the chamber cool. None of this matters to a guy that just wants to do burnouts.
We decided to go with is a BTR Gen 5 230 duration.
A 230 cam in a Gen 5 engine requires you to fly cut the pistons. How fun.
On the intake and 240 something on the exhaust. Coming from the LS world, pistons.
Yeah, there they are, fly cutting the pistons.
Head into the head, and then chuck it. There is room for the intake valve to travel.
Sounds fun.
Simply set that up with a feeler gauge installed under the adjustable to the LT1 that is offered in the Cadillacs, the Camaros, and the Corvettes. The only real difference is the oil pan and the intake.
I'm bored with this, and I want to go finish my beer, so I'm just going to wrap this up right now. For me, where I live, and for many of you, my viewers, where you live, this is just a shit show. It doesn't matter if it's better if it costs 10 times as much money. We can go on Facebook right now. Hopefully none of my family's doing anything embarrassing here. St. Anne Cruise Night. Not embarrassing. We can go on Facebook right now and find a 5.3 LM7 for $300 or $400, and that's if you're paying asking price. $400. I do have front accessories and a harness that is cut. Well, that's unfortunate. If you had a harness that wasn't cut, you can wire it as is. anyway, look at all these engines. I mean, I wouldn't buy one that's not complete, but like this one right here has everything. We can make this run the way it is right now for $450 on that pallet. All we need is a fuel pump and a battery, and that thing will run and do burnouts in your junk for how long? For as long as it takes. So, I don't know. I've actually often said that I would skip a Gen 4 to go to a Gen 5, and that's when the supply dries up. When people keep like changing directions and have finally ruined all of the 5.3s, then yeah, I'll be like the guys at the car show talking about their Gen 1s, because there's no Gen 1 anymore. I spelled that wrong. Typoed it. So yeah, when this is all that's left is junk that people have completely discombobulated. All this kind of crap, when that's all that's left, then I would not go for the complexity of a Gen 4. I would skip to a Gen 5, but we're a long way from there yet. There's still plenty of Gen 3 stuff on the road and in the junkyard. Don't step over dollars to pick up quarters, right? Like, you ever hear the saying that Bill Gates would lose money if he stopped to pick up a $100 bill? It's because his time is so valuable that spending it picking up that $100 bill is less useful than spending it making another shitty Windows product. So that like locks you out and it's proprietary and whatever. But I digress. I'm not suicidal. Yes, the LT is better. It's probably not better for you, especially if money is a thing in your world, and I'm guessing that it is. So I thank you for watching, and I don't know this gentleman's name. Shit. I don't know this guy's name. I know what he goes by. I'm going to link the video down. Nivlac. No offense, mate. Hope none taken. It's an opinion. They're like assholes. Everybody's got one. So, we'll see you next time on The Driveway Engineer.